I had to check the battery.
God, what if it didn't record? I'd be so mad.
75%, so we should be good.
Let's go. What an awesome day. Hanging out with my bestie, doing podcast after podcast.
Dude, you know what's funny? I was thinking about that. This is recording right now. But I was thinking about that a while ago.
Let's start it this way. Naturally. Let's do it.
So we're back.
Rolling.
So I was thinking about this the other while ago. I was thinking, what if we're doing these recordings back to back to back. I'm like, I'm bad. I'm probably going to post them all. Like, I'll just be like, boom, boom, boom. Here's 3 episodes. I didn't save them for the next 3 weeks, you know?
I don't even know, dude. My family, when we first started this, they were all about it, and they were like, they would like text me about stuff we talked about. I haven't heard them say anything about it lately, so I don't even know if anybody listens, but I still have a blast doing this.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
I'm the same way, because like there was a little bit where people would be like, "Hey, I listened to your podcast; it's really good." And I was at that conference. They had a podcast there where it was all work related, and they were talking about it. Well, I went back there, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to join us on our podcast?" And I was like, "I don't know about that." I was like, "I don't really have a whole lot of HR knowledge that I want to share with y'all." And I said, "But I got my own podcast," and they were like, "Well, what is it?" Well, the keynote speaker was standing like real close by, and I was like, "Well, I'm a kid from the '80s." I said, it's talk. We talk about a lot of retro stuff. We talk about being a dad, and they pulled the freaking keynote speaker over there.
You're all embarrassed.
They're like, "Hey, Brad," and he's 46. They were like, "Brad, come here."
You just melted in a corner, didn't you?
Yeah, they bring him over, and they were like, "What's up?" And he they said, "Hey, this guy's got a podcast."
Oh no!
So he's like, "You got to share it with me. I'd love to listen." So I shared it with him, but I've not heard anything back. But
I should have lied and been like, "It's called Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast."
Yeah,
one of the popular. It's called the Joe Rogan Experience. No, yeah.
This past weekend or whatever. Yeah. But no, so we're back. We're pounding out a lot of episodes just back to back, just because 1, we were 3 weeks behind, but 2, I've got a day off, and we had some time to just talk. And anytime we get together and talk, so just so y'all know, it's already been 2 hours that we've been sitting here. This will be the 3rd hour, just chatting it up. But in talking today, we wanted to think of a good topic, and he was on his way over, or on his way kind of planning this, and the Powerball is at $1.3 billion. This is the 5th largest Powerball that there's ever been. And in the past, we've talked about wanting to talk about what would we do with all that money.
It's one of my favorite games to play.
Oh, man. Me and Ashley have a tremendous amount of fun with this.
I literally, sometimes I'm driving in my truck at work, and I'm doing this in my head.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what would I do if I do it by different tiers. I'm like, because you know how it's the 1.3 billion, but then there's also like little millions, one here and there. I think the other day they said there was X amount of tickets that have won $1 million, or even one that was not claimed in Kentucky, supposedly.
Oh wow, it's probably mine, and I lost
probably
the
is.
ticket or something.
Yeah, he shredded it, washed it in the washer. So I'll play different versions of it. Like, what would I do with life-changing money, like generational wealth, and what would I do with enough to get me out of debt, which that pretty much sums that up. So, but I kind of want to shoot back and forth and see how we compare as far as what we would do with these kind of winnings. So
let's start with that then. Using that. So what would you do if you just got the 5 numbers right, no Powerball, $1 million?
It's easy for me. So if you won $1 million, I don't know what you would get after taxes. I'm gonna assume 600 something, 700 something.
Yeah, I would.
Thousand, which is,
while we're sitting here, we will look it up.
I say that's not life. It's not generational wealth, right? Like, you're not going to be able to pass generations on.
This is probably enough just for your family.
But me, it's boring. It's going to be, first thing I'm going to do is pay everything off. I know that that may be to some the dumb thing to do. But to me, when you think about debt and how much you're in debt, and that's kind of in the back of your mind all the time, I'm not an incredible amount of debt, but it would be enough to pay off my debt and to still have some fun. So the first thing I would address for me personally is that totally destroyed car I'm driving out there. You know, my front end all hanging down, my air dam. I've been fighting with that, dude. My front, the skid plate on the front's hanging down, dragging the ground. I zip tied. I hit another animal. It falls down. So I'm getting me a nice car. You know, something practical. It's probably a truck.
Right.
I'm not even sure I'd buy a new one with $1.7 million, 600. Let's call it 650. Let's call it $650,000. I'm paying off my debt.
Real quick, ChatGPT says realistically 1 million win in the U.S. with state tax and federal would be somewhere between 550 and 650. So you're about right.
So I think I could be out of debt with, let's call it 150. I could be out of debt. That leaves me with whatever 400 whatever thousand. I'm obviously probably going to work on retirement, you know, because I'm pretty far behind on that. So some money's going to get invested. I think with any money you win, I think it's a good idea to invest, especially when you're an idiot and you're not investing right now. I've had to take a back seat on that. Just, you know, life happens. So I'm going to do some catching up on that. Obviously, you still got a little money to go, quite a bit of money to go. Probably going to invest in Maggie's school or whatever, get something, you know, going for her. We have stuff going for her, but I would, you know, go a little further on that heavily because she's getting ready to in a couple of years think about college and stuff like that. But really, the goal, focus on $1,550,000, whatever it is living debt free.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
And then focusing on, okay, the rest of it is going to grow. I'm going to grow the rest of that money. There's going to be some fun things. Like I said, I'm going to get a vehicle for myself because I drive the crappiest vehicle and it's beat up and it needs work. But I'm still going to do that practically with that kind of money.
Right.
I don't know necessarily that you could be, you know, I'd like to think that you still have enough in there to be charitable and to help family and stuff. And you could probably help them a little with that amount of money, but I don't know that you can take that very far, you know.
Right.
How do you feel about it? What's it looking like for you?
So, I'm a big believer in, you know, anything like that you win or get, anything you earn, whatever, financially, is a blessing from God. So I would first pay tithes, which tithes is 10%. So 10% of whatever I won would go to our church or whatever the case is. And even if God told me something different, if God was saying, you know, hey, you need to pay your tithes, but this amount of money needs to go to somebody else, I would follow with that. But once those things are done, she probably don't want me to get too graphic, but under 100,000 would get me out of debt.
Yeah.
So along with you, first thing is I would say, Ashley, quit your job, because that would be winning the lottery for Ashley. Like, no more work. She's like, okay. So Ashley wouldn't have to work.
She's like, I want 100,000. I'm quitting my job. She could make it happen, right? Like, no amount of winning. Scratch off 10,000.
Honestly, if we were debt free, regardless of what I won, if we were debt free, her quitting her job would be probably tops of our list with anything, because she doesn't, you know, she's not doing what she loves, you know. I mean, we're thankful she has a job, but anyway. Yeah. So she would quit her job. I would still do everything I'm doing now as far as my job. But tops on the list would be a new truck. And then Ashley, we would probably save Aiden's vehicle for like or the Ashley's vehicle now, the Nissan. We'd probably save that for Aiden and just kind of keep it as a driver every now and then. Yeah. And I would just save that for him whenever he gets his license. And then the rest of the money after buying 2 new vehicles and paying our debts off would probably go to buying my papa's farm right here.
Nice.
So we would just own basically everything down this road.
And when I say investing, that to me is considered investing.
Buying
so
land.
I would probably get some property, or I think that's still, you know, and I'm not super financial savvy. Obviously, if you all have listened to this, you know, we're just getting by sometimes, but I think that's a smart move. I think, especially when it's personal, when it's a family.
Mm-hmm. You know, I think when you're talking and I know this I hope this does not sound rude of me, but when you're talking that kind of money, 550, 650,000, can you help people out? Yes. If you're in the line at Walmart and there's a needy family that are struggling to pay for groceries, yes, I think you could buy your groceries. But I couldn't go up to my sister or one of her kids and just be like, here's $50,000 you need to pay off. You know what I mean? Like there's not that kind of money to help.
That's when the lottery horror stories come out, when people are just giving money away, and people do that when they win the big money, and they do when they win the small money. I think that's where they get in trouble. I mean, you have to. It would be tough not to give quote unquote handouts, I guess. But when you got that, that amount of money, there's people every day making that.
Yeah.
Nothing, and it's nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
to us, it sounds, because we're sitting here, to us that sounds like, oh man, that's a good amount of money. But then once you start paying your bills off, and you buy your vehicle, and then you're thinking, well, like I said, just buying that piece of property down there would take every bit of it. So it's going to help him out. My papa, they own it, but I mean, whoever gets the financial benefit of that. Yeah, my mom and dad, or my mom and my aunt, whoever would eventually get that would get benefit out of. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, you're not going to have enough to go around and buy people stuff.
But still, even with it being that small amount of money, it is life changing.
Yeah,
and I would
not having debt is life changing.
I would lose my mind if I won $1 million.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I would be like, I'm not sure I wouldn't. I mean, to win 1.3 billion would be nuts, but $1 million would be, I mean, just thinking about debt every day, being and thinking about retirement, and just the everyday of being head of household, trying to get bills paid and stuff, and knowing that, however many thousands of dollars a month you would no longer have to pay towards debt, like how much that would free up. That $1 million can stretch pretty far.
It could. It's life changing for you eventually. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, if you get all your debt paid off, now all of a sudden everything you make every week or every 2 weeks is going into whatever you wanted to do. If you want to say, hey, listen, Rachel, this weekend we don't have any bills. Yeah. So this weekend we're going to go up to New York to spend the weekend or whatever.
So that maybe there is a little more to mine. We would probably get a nicer vehicle. I said I would get a nicer vehicle. I would get Rachel a nicer vehicle as well. And then we would have enough money. If she wanted to quit her job, she probably could in that case, because like I said, we don't have a ton of debt. And you forget that all that money, like you said, is freed up that you're paying in the debt now. So that's a fun one. But what do you win if you win 1.3 billion? I'm sure it's
500.
It's 500 million.
It's like 580, or it's up like
$5 to $6 million, $100 million.
And that's the cash value. You still have to take taxes out of that, so your tax would be probably 40% off that. So
I thought that was what you got after taxes.
No, that's just the cash value.
Can you describe how you would feel if your numbers matched all those numbers?
Because
you're talking about, now we're talking about generational wealth, right?
So yes, and to put this in perspective, at that conference last week I was at, there is a thing where you got to go and see all these vendors, and once you go and see all these vendors, you have the potential to win $2,500. So not much at all. But it was still amazing.
Cry tears of joy.
So I'm sitting there at that dinner table eating all them beans and stuff that I talked about in the last episode, and I'm thinking, if I won that 20, because they announced the winner that last day, and I'm like, how would I react? Like I'm thinking I would have a heart attack just at winning $2,500. So winning 1.3 billion,
it'd be stupid.
I don't know how I could. I cannot fathom the feeling you would have.
So here's the, obviously what you would do with that versus $1 million changes substantially. Some of it doesn't. But there's also a lot of burdens to winning a lot of that money because you can't handle that money yourself. You have to have the first thing you have to do is probably get an attorney, right? So now you got a bunch of legal stuff you got to take care of. The $1 million, I could deal with that. You know, I mean, I'm just going to pay off my debt and I'm going to put the other money in some type of investments, whatever. Yeah. But when you've got so much money, you're going to have to get you're going to have to get an attorney, I would imagine, financial advisors. Like now we're talking, there's some pre-work, I guess, to just go getting the fat check, taking the picture, saying, I'm going to pay off my debt now, I'm going to move to wherever, build a big house, buy half the county, whatever you choose to do. But how would you're going to line up you're going to get yourself lined up. Financial advisors, attorneys, all that, right? But what are you doing after that?
So I put a lot of thought into this morning, even before you reached out to me about it.
Yeah.
And first thing I'm doing is I'm taking the annuity. I know that sounds crazy to people.
Is that the yearly?
That's the yearly. And the reason why is because you don't lose any of that $1.3 billion. The only thing you're losing is what you have to pay on taxes. So I'm taking the $1.3 billion, which when I did the math at Ashley's lunch break was $43 million every year you're going to get approximately $40-some million that you got to pay taxes on.
Taxes every year.
So if you paid 40% taxes on it, you're looking at somewhere in the range of $22-25 million actually a year.
Oh my gosh.
After that,
ridiculous.
And that's for 30 years. After that first year, I can't imagine what I would ever do with the rest of the money.
Yeah, because you're covered, man. Like,
so that $20 million,
a drop in the bucket of that money pays off your debt. So that's the first conversation we had. And now it's just stupid money for the rest of your life.
So I'm talking. What I'm getting into is now really helping people. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, when you have that kind of money, that is, you know, I want to say this the right way. So when you have that kind of money, when you help somebody, you're just being a blessing with what God's given you.
Yeah.
So if I do go broke, I would save back enough money to where I wouldn't go broke. But if I was still able to live the lifestyle that I have now, maybe with just some nicer things like a nicer truck and nicer stuff, then if all the other money went to help other people, and as long as I'm out of debt, Ashley doesn't have to work, all the other stuff is just blessings of other money. So if like we talked about a while ago, buying, upgrading our church, helping families in need in Grayson County, helping families in need in my family. It would be nothing for me to want to be able to go in to Clarkson Community Bank and say, I don't know where, Wilson Amur, and say, hey, I want to pay off Travis Shepard's mortgage.
Yeah.
Or I want to pay off such and such's mortgage. Boom, do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that would be a goal of mine. But there's a lot of fun things too. Don't get me wrong. So I would not be able to quit my job with the $1 million, but with the $1.3 billion,
everybody's quitting.
I'm gone. But I would like to have my own business. So me and Ashley have talked about it before. I don't know if I would want to get back into the DJ realm where like I DJ'd and somebody did something. But I would like to get in the realm, maybe a food truck, something to where I own something, and if I want to work it, I can.
Yeah,
like
that
if I
kind
wanted
of
to
money
go, wanted to cook barbecue, or if I wanted to do something, I could do it. But then if I didn't want to do it and I wanted to go on vacation for a month, say, hey, so and so, run this restaurant for me. You know what I mean, kind of thing.
Yeah, that would be that kind of money. You can do what you want to do for a living, quote unquote.
And it don't even have to give you as long as you're busy doing something that you love, even if it's not bringing you money in, as long as it's not a huge waste of money, it's probably
my obviously got to be charitable. There's a lot of causes and things, and you got to have that money put in a lot of different ways, so that's where you got to get some smart people behind you, obviously. But that kind of money, you're taking care of your family, and you actually can take care of family. all your siblings and everything. And but a lot of mine just depends on what my wife and daughter. I don't think they'd want to live here.
Yeah.
I think they would be like, oh, we got to move somewhere. I mean, I don't know where, but I wouldn't want to necessarily. I would still want to live here. I know that's probably lame, but this is where my roots are at. Not saying we couldn't have some other properties in other places. And that would be maybe my compromise. Is, hey, can this be home base, but can we have a place in such and such and such and such? So maybe a couple properties would be involved in so that we have some getaway destinations, because you're going to travel with that kind of money. I mean, you can't not. I don't necessarily want to travel overseas and stuff. I think the world's scary, and I just that's where me and my wife disagree, and it sucks because she has to live with that, because I'm just like, I don't want to do that, but I just don't. I would love to see that stuff, but it's scary, But with this kind of money, you have to. You know what I mean? And you have to provide those things, I think, and you've got the means now to live those experiences. The vices that it's easy for me to talk about. The debt would be paid off. Obviously, we'd probably have a better home at the very least. Obviously everybody's taken care of. There's all kinds of trust and things set up. My indulgence, I know, would be vehicles.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Because that's what I like. So, I would like to think that the smart person to me would be like, I'll just have my one nice vehicle. Nobody needs more than one vehicle, right?
No, yeah.
I am my mother's child. I forgot to tell you, my mom's got another vehicle. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. So I could live in a house that's a modest house, even on a $1.3 billion budget.
Yeah.
But I would have a sick garage or barn or whatever, finished out man cave with a few vehicles that I've loved my whole life that I can't even look at now. And my thing is, like, I'm not balling like with Ferraris and Lamborghinis and stuff. I've got classics, Grand Nationals, C10 trucks, drivers. I don't want anything that even though I'm a billionaire, I've got to put it in a bubble, and I can't drive it and enjoy it. So that's going to be my getting into that, because at that kind of money you can trade, and that would probably be my thing. I'd be in the classic car, some type of buying and trading and enjoying that, going to auctions. That would be my pastime / not necessarily money maker, but that would be the biggest thing for me. Is for me personally, like man cavey type stuff. Yeah. Probably gonna have a sick golf simulator. I mean, what's that gonna set you back? $5,000, $10,000?
Yeah, stuff like that. Even like a iRacing sim, stuff like that's not.
I've already thought
about
ridiculous.
It.
I'm gonna have a
10,000 maybe at the most.
And it might even be. I was thinking how cool it would be to. I'm probably too old for it, but to invest in like a race team.
Yeah.
Would that be enough money for me to?
The 1.3 billion would.
Yeah. God. To invest in.
You could go down there and be on part of Junior Motorsports.
Man. I thought about that. I thought, well, I wonder how much you'd have to have a charter. That's getting into NASCAR talk, but that would be too. You would make yourself a poor person very quick. You'd be on those lottery horror stories like he won $700 million and has nothing. Lives under a bridge, but I think I'm capable enough to being smart, because I don't spend outside of my means now.
Yeah.
And when I need to tighten up, I can be tight as a cat's behind. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah. But there are some things that I would like to have, I would like to do. I mean, obviously, again, I'm going to be super charitable about it. There's a lot of, there's a lot of charities and things that I think, could benefit from that kind of money. But vehicles would be a vice for me, dude. It's something about cars and trucks I love.
Yeah. I
mean, I drive a beat up Maxima. So first thing I'm going to do with that, I'm probably going to buy a monster truck and drive over top of that. Buy like an old replica Bigfoot. You know what I mean? Just a few little indulgences, It would be sick to have like the I don't even play basketball, but if I had an indoor basketball hoop, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Like an indoor basketball court, workout area, man cave stuff.
That's the thing I was kind of thinking of is like if we're getting into like specifics on it, like I would this road that I live on, I would like to buy. Going back to buying my papa's property, I would like to buy this entire property. So like what's here next to me, the house at the end of the road, this plot of land out in front. I would like to own this whole area to where it's all mine, and I could buy mom and dad a house, build them something over here in Papa's field or whatever. But I would like, as far as my house, I don't want it to necessarily be a mansion, but I want it to be like one of those barn dominiums to where I have a nice home in this barn, pole barn type house. But on the back of it is, like a full-size basketball court, but half of it is like a garage. So it's got the goals hanging, but half of it's a garage, and then half of it's a gym with a workout area.
So what would be, would it be that kind of stuff that you would indulge in? We're talking just strictly like, this is play stuff.
Oh, I'm buying...
I mean, you would have ATVs, because you have all this land out here.
Oh, yeah. I'm for sure buying... like a 2026 Chevrolet HD 2500 truck. Okay, that's right. The first thing that's bought. Ashley, I'm buying her like the most nice souped up SUV. That's like she's not a big. She doesn't like
my
a
wife
big
already
vehicle.
said it's got to be a G wagon.
So Ashley, what's a G wagon? A Grand Wagon?
Some Mercedes G wagons that are like 200,000.
What size is this?
It's just an SUV.
Like
it's like a boxy
mid-size
SUV. Yeah, probably.
So Ashley's getting like something like that, like a mid-size SUV that she doesn't want like a V8, like a big one. She's got to have like the mid-size. But she's for sure getting that. And then we're getting like a big one to go on trips with. Like if we were to go drive to Florida, I'm getting like a Escalade or something like that. You know what I mean? So there's 3 vehicles right there.
Yep.
The truck is my daily driver. The small SUV is Ashley's daily driver. The Escalade's like trips and stuff.
That's practical rich people vehicles.
Then I'm for sure getting some sort of sports car because I've always wanted a sports car, and it's not like you said. I'm not getting like some kind of Lamborghini. I'm getting like
Corvette's the yellow one.
No, I don't know. That would be nice, but I'm even thinking I don't know what it is about them. But like, remember the Firebird you had?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So something like that. But like, I like the Camaros better than the Firebirds because the Firebirds had they had like a sharper slope on their
they had
bumper.
the flip up headlights and everything. That generation.
But I like the bubble look of the Camaro. But like just something like that. But nice, like a super nice one, like a just all out good condition.
So like a car that you would have thought was cool when you were little.
Yes.
Like the most, like, you're going to buy the best version of that.
Yes, exactly.
See, that's
sweet
how
paint on it.
Yeah.
Nice wheels.
That's me. Like when I, my
something I could take to car shows.
Yeah. I would, and I'm not saying that I would have 50 cars. I would.
Yeah.
I would probably have 5 to 6.
Yeah.
I know that's a lot, but when you're talking a billion something, give me a break.
Yeah.
So the wife's driving the G-Wagon. Maggie's probably getting a Bronco or something, whatever she likes. My daily's going to be a truck. Probably I don't even know if I go big. Yeah, I had to go big with that kind of money.
Oh, yeah.
And then I got to have something that's like practical, like driver, like you talked about. An SUV type thing we could all go together. Full, big, But then when it comes to my toys, I'm going 87 Grand National, as a true gentleman would.
Would love it.
Probably just like my blue truck I had. It was a 92 Silverado.
Yeah.
Slam down. All the stuff on it. 78 Trans Am.
Yeah.
Look, a modernized version of the Bandit car.
Yeah.
But the big wheels slam down with the modern suspension. Like I wanted to... I'm not a mechanic, so I don't want to be out there tinkering carburetors. I want to have a giant LS motor in there. All the modern stuff, but the old car.
Yeah.
Same with the trucks. They're going to have modern stuff.
Even when you get in it, like I would want, I'd want a C10 like that as well, like an old C10. But I would want like a touchscreen stereo, like air conditioning. Fix that thing up for me.
Yeah, I want these vehicles to act as a modern vehicle. but to have the look of the old school. But I like my stuff slammed on the ground.
Yeah.
Obviously. Probably gonna have just because I got a little stupid money, spending money. I'm probably gonna get something that's like nostalgic to me, like if I could find like a low mile Ford Probe.
Yeah.
Since that was my first vehicle,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like one of the. Remember, I had that white. Remember that white Thunderbird I had.
Yeah.
If I could find a nice Thunderbird, because my papa always had Thunderbirds, and you like those. If I could find a nice Thunderbird, I'm gonna have that modernized. Everything I have is gonna be like you can get in and turn the key and drive it. And then while I might have one that I'm rotating because I'm going to auctions and stuff, and I'm turning maybe a little profit here and there. I got the money to throw down to buy these things, but that's the indulgences, the vehicles, and then I've. Like I said, I like man cavey stuff. I'm gonna make sure my lady and my daughter has what they want on that. They can have cool
Craft
female
room
stuff
or whatever. Yeah,
it's not craft room, or maybe it is. I don't know, or maybe
whatever they're wanting. Yeah,
they're probably whatever they think is exciting. We'll have a media room.
Yeah,
in our home. That's a fun, cool place for us to all watch stuff together. I always get jealous of those. We used to go to Homerama in Louisville, and we would look at those expensive houses, and you would go downstairs, and they have a cool like man cavey vibe, and then they would have like a media room that was like decked out with movie posters and like had the lights. I would have something like that. Obviously, since I'm just getting into the bourbon thing, I would have a bourbon, some type of bar look, feel type of thing. I'm not even getting carried away with that. Like I wouldn't even be just because I'm a billionaire. I'm not going out and buying like $4,000 bottles of Pappy and stuff like that. I'm still having my sippers, but it's going to look cool. It's going to have that speakeasy vibe, kind of like my whiskey room has now, just maybe bigger. So a cool place for everybody to hang out with that. But then I think my compromise again to get to stay here, like have a beautiful house on the beach.
Oh yeah,
you gotta have a beach house.
If you asked Ashley right now, that's
I think that's universal for like, and that would be a compromise because I'm sure mine would be like, let's move to Italy, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm kind of American, you know, but maybe we can have a sick beach house on the best beach here, you know, private, and I think that's nice.
Yeah, we would for sure have a house in Daytona somewhere, like on the beach, like you said, and there's some beautiful ones we've seen down there, like you said, and it doesn't have to necessarily be private as long as we have private access to the beach. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying we have to be on 50 acres of land. It could be right there on the beach with people surrounding. But and I would like that, and then I would like one up north somewhere. So almost like a cabin somewhere kind of thing in the woods sick, with dude. Like a lake or something, like just something to go up and get away from, to go the opposite way.
Yes, I get pumped about thinking like when I see like on Facebook and what TikTok or whatever, like these like places that look like I would like to have a property that looks just like Yellowstone.
Yeah.
The show, their property, their house, that setting, like that, a place where you could get out in the wilderness and have hiking trails and just kind of a secluded cabiny type feel place. You can have your beach house that's like your beach vibe, fun, salty life, whatever, go crazy, and then have the polar opposite of that where it's like a beautiful cabin in the woods or in a nice secluded area where you can fish and have your ATVs and go wilderness hiking and stuff like that. Like that would be some cool ideas to invest your money in.
Another thing I know Ashley would want, and I would be to go along with my 2500 truck
HD.
I would get a
black. I'm assuming.
Oh yeah, black rims. Everything.
Black on black.
I'd have a 6-inch lift probably on it.
Oh, it'd be so ridiculous. You'd have to rope climb to get up in it.
Oh yeah. But I would have I would want a camper. Like if Ashley's like, hey,
dude, a camper. You just get trade a couple of the vehicles and get the giant. What are they called? The motorhomes. Just get a motorhome.
Yeah.
Let's go sick. Just get a big 40-something foot motorhome.
Because Ashley'd be like, let's go to. out west somewhere, and
Yeah.
we would just
That-
up and just go. You know what I mean? Like the fact
You
that
can do
you
it all
don't
the
have
time.
to, the fact that you do not have to worry with that kind of money. You're talking about not having to worry about anything, so you don't have to worry about. Well, I got to take 2 weeks for vacation or this or that. Just
You're
go.
on vacation
You
all the
just
time.
you can go.
Oh my gosh!
And
dude,
I
I'm getting
wouldn't-
excited right now.
And people think, well, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? You know, like I said,
Live.
I would still want some kind of some kind of job.
Yeah.
I don't want to work for somebody, but I would do something to keep myself busy where I'm not just sleeping all day or something
Yeah.
like that. So I would do some things. I would like to, I minister some at church. I'd like to go find churches and just like drive out west and go, hey, I'm going to minister at your church or whatever like that. I would do something where I'm working and doing something. But at the same time, you have no responsibility. So if you're like, hey, I'm going to go to Grand Canyon this weekend, or whatever.
That trip out west, it's funny you say that because we were actually talking. I was talking to my mother-in-law about this, and she has had this idea. She wants to do like an RV trip or a camper trip out west with the whole family, which I was like, absolutely, I would love it. But it's so hard when you're working for a living to everybody to be able to coordinate their vacations together, and you got to have 2 weeks for something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say for you to even go to Colorado is gonna take for driving. You're talking a couple days of driving. So 4 days driving coming total trip. Yeah, you have to have 2 weeks set aside just to go.
So it's gonna be like 99.9% impossible for everybody to do it. But when you got that kind of money and everybody's taken care of, and you can just do it, and I would love to because I haven't been out west since I lived there.
Yeah.
And I don't remember 1988. I barely remember anything about living in California. So just that little thing, that's a thing you could do all the time. You could live out west again if you wanted to. You could, but just to do those little things that you think about doing that you take for granted and that you can't do because you can't get everybody off at the same time, to know that you could just do that, like that would be so cool. I would explore all of the United States before I did anything outside of it.
Yeah.
Just again because my fears of like traveling overseas and stuff like. But there's so much just here.
Yeah.
And you could do it all the time. You'd be like, listen, we're not coming home for a month. We're going to drive all over the place and just look and find stuff. And, again, I've got a property here and I got a property here. So that's a couple places I can stop in. And then, I'm catching everything. So like, I said I would get into maybe a little vehicle, classic car, Willing and Dylan as like a pastime / income. But I like your idea of like food truck. I know they say it's the dumbest thing in the world to start a restaurant, like whether you have money or not. It's the quickest way to like lose money. I watch all those shows. But I feel like a food truck is something that you can maintain, like you said. You could have a couple people
It's not a
hired.
huge investment.
Not a huge investment. And instead of having a brick and mortar business that you're tying all this money into, multiple people you got to hire to keep it going, that is something you can like sustain with just a couple people.
Yeah.
And you got the money to make it nice. You got the money to where it doesn't have to be your income, so you don't have to slave over it.
Yeah. It's literally
it's
something.
a passion.
It's more of it's more of something that's a passion and something to keep you busy versus something that you're trying. Oh, I've got to have this to make money. Because if you think going back to the money side of things, if you're getting $43 million a year. Just what you're once you get all the stuff done that first year, you buy your trucks, you buy your vehicle, you buy your property, you buy your house, all that stuff. Year 2, 3, 4 through 30, that money can go into investing, and just the interest money you can live off every year for the rest of your life. So really, like you said, you want to find something to do that just keeps you busy, so you don't become some kind of recluse. That's all you really need to be concerned about.
Yeah, because
food truck.
Yeah. That's another thing. Like, do you ever think about like? It sounds so great, but there is a dark side to all that. Like, you can, because you got to be careful.
Yeah.
There may be people come after you. There may be, not just financially, but I mean, how do you handle that?
Another thing too, I would be interested in, and I'll answer that in just a second. But another thing too, if you're buying properties all over. So if you buy your beach house, you buy your Wisconsin or Montana ranch home in the woods or whatever, you can use those as Airbnbs, make money off those on the weeks you're not there, you know.
That's true. Especially a beach place, man.
Oh, man.
You know how hard it is to rent them there, how expensive it is, and you know, you want it to get some use.
Yep.
There's a pretty good chance that we'd be on that beach one all the time.
I was going to say, like, me and Ashley would probably be...
That's probably where we'd
It'd
live.
probably be like
I keep saying
every
we would
week,
move, but
like I'd be
move.
like, Ashley, this week we're going to be in Litchfield, and then next month we're going to be in Florida, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
But yes, going back to your question, I mean,
it doesn't matter.
You're gonna have people that are first. You're gonna have family, right? Yeah. You're gonna have family that are I gotta have this, but then you're gonna have people literally trying to sue you for things. Yeah. You won't be able to trust every little situation.
With that kind of money, you can have a team of people to help you financially to fight off all that stuff, but you still have to have personal protection, and you that kind of money. Maybe you could boost up the securities and stuff like that around you physically.
Mm-hmm.
I know you would have a cache of weapons. I know. We didn't talk about that, did we?
I do now.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking like.
Oh, like, it would be. I would in this barn dominium we were talking about. Usually pole barns don't have basements. This would have a basement, and the safe room in it would be, it'd be ridiculous. It would be like if you remember the Matrix, when he's going to select the guns before he loads into the Matrix, you would be walking down an aisle thinking you're in like Whitaker's gun shop. You'd be like, oh my, but it would just be, no, it wouldn't be that much. But I'd have some stuff. Yes.
You know what? You could, just a property alone. I mean, you could get carried away.
Yeah.
We say we would be modest and we would have our little beach house and our little cottage, and then we'd keep our place here. But you could have. I was watching a YouTube video this morning where this guy lived in it was an old missile silo that they had built in the Cold War era,
mm-hmm.
and his father-in-law bought it and turned it into a home. Pretty sick.
Neat.
I mean, you're living underground in an old missile silo with like tunnels.
Yeah.
I mean,
that cool.
Security alone, it's pretty tough. There's only one way in, one way out. Like, you're pretty safe there, just for everyday living. But with that kind of money, you can get carried away with a few things. You can live nicely and have some fun, and just the vehicles, man. I keep going back to that, but my goodness.
One of the things Ashley and I has always talked about is like how we can help people, but not just give them money.
Yeah.
And one of the things I like to use in as an example there is, let's say I wanted one of my vehicles. I wanted like this really cool Jeep. Because I would like a Jeep or a Bronco where you could take the top off and the doors off and just drive around.
You'd have one in your rotation.
So
you would.
So I would, if I wanted to help out Kenny, for example, and I wouldn't just be like, hey, Kenny, here's $50,000. I'd be like, hey, Kenny, why don't you build me the sweetest freaking Jeep ever, or find people like that do things. My cousin, for example, cleans homes. Instead of you trying to focus,
you make that kind of money, you don't clean your house.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I would go to her and say, "Hey, listen,
you could hire that make a good living."
Yeah, instead of you working at all these places and them paying you this little amount,
we'll put you on salary.
I'll pay you $50,000 a year to clean our house every day, or whatever.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah, you gotta have people to take care of your stuff. So you're paying those people, you're helping them out, and you help out your community. I mean, you're from here, so you take care of here. You buy.
All your
you
stuff,
make whatever they want to. Yeah, if you and then there's a lot of things I'm sure Litchfield would like to continue to grow. You help grow it.
Whoever builds if we build this barn dominium, find somebody that I know is a contractor here. Like, hey, I want you to design. I want you to build it. Well, and then
just the community itself. You put if they. They've been talking about a rec center for years that they're supposedly going to build. You say it's done.
Yeah. Hey, we got it.
We're gonna put that thing here, and We're going to hire a nice staff so that it's a nice place for people to come and have a good time. I mean, there's just endless possibilities. I mean, really, this could be like a 10-parter. It's kind of silly, but it's certainly one of those things you don't want to just sit here, and I don't sit here and think and put all my eggs in a basket and think I'm going to win the lottery.
Oh yeah,
it's just fun.
You take your whole paycheck and just buy a bunch of tickets.
I don't put all my eggs in a basket and then I go and I sit here and I buy 40 tickets. No,
yeah,
I'm going to buy. You said you bought. You're going to get some tickets. I think I'm going to buy some. You have to give yourself a chance to win. I've only ever played when it's been over $1 billion. I don't see why I would go down a path of buying tickets. I'm not a scratcher person. Like I do 5-star on my new route. I bet when I'm in there, I bet 10 people come in there and hit that little ATM not ATM, but the little ticket scratcher ticket thing. Where you can buy them and just scan them. You don't have to scratch them. People wear that thing out all day. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Would I love to? Sure, I'd love to have $20 to spend, and get a scratcher every day. But
spending $5 or $10 on when they go over $1 billion is well worth the risk. You would have spent that same $5 at McDonald's,
Monsters,
or Monster,
2 for $5 Monster.
So
what's
the yes? Sacrifice your Monster for the day and get you a lottery ticket. But yeah, the possibilities and like you said, to me, yes, it's crazy pipe dreams. It's never going to happen, but it's still kind of
fun.
Kind of fun to do it.
It is fun. I always tell people. When you watch these lottery horror stories and I'm like, give me a chance. Let me show you how it's done, because I can show you you can have fun and still be smart. Hopefully, again, I could. You really don't know how you react. I wonder if I wake up in the morning and my numbers match, I might have a heart attack. I might just pass away. And then how does that even work? You know what I mean? Because I would be so. That moment would be nuts. You know what I mean?
I can tell you this, because you brought your foot up here.
Shoes.
I would have every color of Air Max 90s there is made.
It would be nothing. You could have every Jordan, dude. Yeah. Every special edition, a closet full. That's another thing. So my cars, but what else would I spend? My man cavey stuff, golf simulator, iRacing simulator, all this and that. I would probably just have some like a three-hole golf course in my backyard, something like that. Easy to maintain, obviously. But clothes, mine isn't necessarily so much shoes.
Yeah.
But you'd have to have some clothes, some nice clothes, some nice things. I wouldn't go stupid. I don't like a lot of rich people clothes, quote unquote. I would never pay, even if I had the money, I would not wear a $500 pair of jeans.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Would I wear a $300 pair of boots? Yes, because I have a $300 pair of boots. That's the craziest thing I've ever bought. I'm going to keep them forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that I would go crazy on stuff like that. But you could definitely, you think about dressing the way you want, the way you see yourself looking in your head. You could actually afford to do that.
Yeah.
Would you do anything would there be any crazy oddball thing that you would spend money on that you can't do now, outside of, like we said, vehicles, houses, properties, trips? Is there something you would take lessons for, or is there anything weird you would do, kind of people wouldn't maybe expect you to do? Or
that's a good question. That's a really intriguing question. I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, I think about that too. Because you could, whatever it is, you could spend as much money as you want at it.
I think it would be cool to get a helicopter license, a license to fly one.
That's
and
what
then
I'm talking
buy
about.
a helicopter.
That's
I think
what I
that'd
mean.
be cool. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
I think something like that would be neat.
Yeah, something like you would never think about doing or learning to do or spending money on.
And I know. Here's another thing I would do, and it wouldn't be so much something I'd have to learn to do, but when people think of Thomas now, they don't think of me as being this big outdoorsman. I mean, I do hunt, but I'm not a big fisher or boater or anything like that. I've got poles and I do go fishing. I don't care to. The main reason I don't do a lot of fishing now is just because I get bored if I'm not catching anything. But I would. One of the first things I'd probably do is buy a boat. I'd get some kind of cool bass boat or something to go tubing with or something like that, and spend a lot of time doing stuff like that.
Lake prop. We didn't even get into that. I've been driving by the lakes a lot because my route goes over like the dam and stuff, Motor Deer, and goes around in Wax, and you see people out there on the boats, and you're like, man. But you got your beach thing. I don't know that would be the same. I don't know if that would hit the same. There's a lot of mosquitoes around here. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to go hang out in the water, I want to hang out on the beach.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe a boat that goes like Dexter's boat, like that's like a ocean-type boat. Yeah.
Type of thing.
Go out there and fish on that or whatever, just...
that would be
because people can do stuff like that on the beach, so maybe do something like that.
I think I would probably... I don't know. Maybe like something that's expensive and I'm not necessarily good at that I like that I can't throw money at now. Maybe I would like golfing. Maybe I would take like lessons and have, because golf is expensive.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes.
It's so.
That's
expensive.
why I don't
even
do
cheaply. It's not cheap to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the cheapest you can do is play the par 3 at E-Town for like $5, but you got to walk it all day. But like to be good at golf, I feel like you got to have a little money, and so that's probably something I would get into because you're retired, obviously. So you got to spend a little time, and it gets you some exercise. I would probably be more outdoorsy. I'd probably figure out some stuff to do that because that's something I've never been into. But I always am kind of envious of people that do spend time outside. I'm like, man, hunting sounds like fun, and it sounds like it's, it's peaceful and it's this and it's that. But then I'm like, like I just don't do it. You know what I mean? I talk all the time to Rachel. I'm like, man, next time we go to Gatlinburg, I want to go find a trail and do like a hiking trail for me and stuff. And then I'm like, would I really do it?
Well, it's funny you bring that up. I don't want to sidebar this, but me and Ashley were talking, I really think that's something we need to put on our list to do soon is even if it's not Gatlinburg to do it, I'd like to go down to find some kind of trail in Mammoth Cave or something and do an actual hike. I know she's not going to want to do it, but me and her were talking
Rachel
about like I was like because Ashley's like I never want to do that, and I'm like, well, maybe I need to
terrible.
find somebody to go.
Yeah.
So it'd be Ashley wouldn't want me and you going down to Gatlinburg and spending the night with each other, but I think it'd be cool.
We'd go down there and just what we would do. We would just take a PlayStation down there and we'd find a PlayStation
we hiked.
2. Yeah.
We played.
We eat all the food. We would just If we won the lottery, I would eat everything.
Oh yeah,
every food you can imagine. I mean,
anything that comes on diners, dive-ins, and drives and whatever. Anything that's on that or like one of these shows where they're talking about an awesome restaurant. Me and Ashley would be sitting here and we'd be like, "Hey, you want to go to that?" And then we just take off going to it.
You wouldn't be sitting here. You'd be sitting in your mansion.
Or our mansion.
Over there, you'd be on the third floor, like.
I know she doesn't have
good. Let's take the chopper over there.
Yeah, I know she doesn't have a lot of fun with it. But she has been going hunting with me. Like, she'll go out and sit in the blind and stuff. She plays on her...
How do you get her to be quiet enough?
She plays...
just kidding!
Yeah. She plays on her phone and stuff like that. But, like, taking her on hunting trips to, like, Alaska and stuff like that would be cool. And you have to have money for that. Because you have to...
You're big game hunting.
People have to charter you out there and take you out on, like, private planes and stuff. So, I mean, it would take a lot... So, yeah, when you're talking about doing crazy stuff like the... golfing or helicopter pilot, I mean, that would be up there in that list because just to get the license to hunt one of those like a bear or something like that is ridiculous. You know what I mean?
You could do all that fun stuff.
Go to Africa and kill a lion or something.
Don't do that.
And then you go to jail or
get
whatever.
Canceled and be looked at as one of the like worst people ever. I don't know if that's
the September winner of the 2025, the $1.3 billion is now in jail for killing a lion.
Yeah.
That'd be me, guys.
Was it Donald Trump Jr.? Who was it that went over there and shot a...
It was their daughter or something like that. Laura Trump. It was one of them.
That's done that. I mean, it's not a good look.
But it's, man, this is so much fun talking about it.
I know. I wish maybe we win. How? Who's the first person? Obviously, your wife. But after that, who's the first person to find out you won?
It's a good question.
Because you're going to check when you get up in the morning.
So Ashley
For me,
would.
it's going to be like 4:30.
So if I won first thing in the morning, I'm calling Ashley and I'm saying, "Hey, you get to go home," and she's going to be like, "What? What's wrong?" I'm going to be like, "I just won the lottery. Quit your job."
Sentra?
She'll be home within 10 minutes at 100%.
She doesn't even. She's like knocking over pallets.
Yeah.
Like trying to get out of there as quick. She just busts open an emergency exit on the side door.
Yeah.
Like
she takes off her little vest, lays it in the floor with her
throws
name
it on
tag
the first person she sees.
Oh yeah. So I'm telling Ashley, and then I know you gotta line up all the legal stuff. So I would probably do that before I told anybody else.
Definitely. I think that's where people fall out quick.
And then, but once I get that in line and they tell me what, like the lawyer or whatever tells me what I can and can't do, once that's over, obviously I tell mom and dad. Mom and dad's next on the list. And
a lot of people's gonna know pretty quick though. You can't contain yourself. Here's like we get back to the paranoia thing. Like I'm not so sure I wouldn't spiral for a minute. Just so scared that I screw something up or I didn't look at it right. My numbers really don't match because you got to get there.
Yeah,
you got to contact the Kentucky Lottery folks.
Yeah,
and I'm sure it's a while before you can claim it. Like there's a lot of legal stuff that I'm not so sure I wouldn't spiral. I know how I am. I may not enjoy it at all. I may not want to win this daggone thing.
And with that,
I'll take the $1 million.
Yeah.
I'll be fine with that.
With that 1.3 billion too, I'm immediately calling into work. Because I don't want to risk like driving and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't go to the office that much. I do work from home.
You go, I'm going to buy a bubble off Amazon and live in it.
Yeah, so I'm calling my boss and saying, hey, listen, something's came up. I need to take an emergency 2 weeks vacation. You know what I'm saying? And I've got it. So I'm putting in a 2 weeks vacation, not going anywhere. Me and Ashley are just kind of staying here and keeping everything quiet as much as possible.
Probably got to kind of shelter in place for a little while.
Yeah.
I don't know that you want to be out and about because...
Especially once they make the announce. Like, because, in Kentucky, it's mandatory to, like...
Kentucky just throws you under the bus. So, like, this sucker won
$1
million.
Travis Shepard and Tom Starty won.
On 26, and start naming your address and stuff. Like, it's so scary in this world, though. Like, I don't have money, and I'm worried about people taking my money.
Yeah.
Hacking my stuff. Like, I'm paranoid about that all the time. I can't imagine having that much money. And, like, worried that somebody could get it.
What if one of us wake up in the morning and you're like, hey.
Well, I'm going to know you won because I'm not going to hear from you for 2 weeks. Like, I'm like, Thomas, is anybody here? I'll be on the group chat and I'll be like, guys, Thomas, are you okay? Like,
Thomas isn't replying.
Yeah, because, like you said, you got to stay quiet. You got to hunker down for a little while with that kind of money.
Yeah.
And if I win $1 million, I'm probably just going to tell you guys. I'm be like, dudes, I won the $1 million. Like, I'm going to be debt free. Like, this is going to be nuts. Yeah. We're going to go play Topgolf or some stupid thing. Like, we're going to go to Gatlinburg. Because that's another thing. With $1 million, I could pay for a trip for all you guys.
Yeah.
Like an easy trip, And we're going to do it.
Yeah.
But with billions, we're doing trips all the time.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're doing fun stuff all the time.
But like you said, you could with the billions, we could even have. So me and Ashley have our own beach house, but then we have like a huge beach house that's like for like multiple families to go spend. You know what I mean? Like I can have my private one.
Yeah, because that's the thing. You can't get carried away. I mean, I love you guys, but I can't. I'm probably gonna do. This is my dream. As soon as I heard about what this guy does, I thought this would be sick. This is what I would do for you. There would be a set amount of money that I would give you guys if I won 1 point whatever billion. I would give you guys some money. That's part of my charitable. You guys are my best friends. Blah blah blah. Would you do the Clooney thing where you're like, guys, I want you guys to come over. We're gonna have our typical guys thing, and then I just slide you guys briefcases, and I'm like we have a very formal like sit down. But I've got a briefcase for each one of y'all.
I open it up and I'm like, oh my God.
That's what Clooney does. Did you know that? George Clooney does that with his friends. He's got these friends that he's had forever that like were people when he first got into the industry and stuff that stuck with him forever. Some of them were like totally random dudes. Like one of them is a guy that was in a bunch of 80s movies. Like I've seen him before, and you would never think this guy does anything now, but he's friends with Clooney, so he's obviously rich. But like once a year he'll give them, or like once every so often, they'll have a thing and he'll do this thing where he gives them like a briefcase like with money.
Golly.
Or maybe he just did it one time, but anyway, it was like a cool thing. Like it's not a flex. It's not that I want to be like, well, I'm rich now, but it's like to have a moment where we just as the four friends are secluded, and I'm like, I'm gonna change your guys' lives.
That's awesome.
And then like you're gonna be able to take care of your kids, and you're gonna be able to do this and that, like, because you know, being charitable, I feel like with that kind of money, you can afford to help the people you love.
And you can give what is a small amount of money to you. With $1.3 billion, a small amount of money
Still
to you is life-changing to somebody else.
Yeah.
You think of $1 million, just $1 million, and I'm not asking for $1 million if you want,
right.
but even just $1 million is so minor to you, because you're going to pull that in just interest a year.
I feel like that would be the one thing that maybe me and my financial advisors would go back and forth on, because I'm sure they're going to be like, listen, don't help your friends, don't help your family, but I'm going to be like, listen, I got to help some people. Yeah, my 6th cousin twice removed is probably not going to get $1 million, but my best friends of 20 plus years, I'm going to take care of them. You know, they're gonna be taken care of. Like, I feel like you have to with that kind of money. Obviously, if it's $1 million, sorry, we're probably just gonna do something really cool, like a couple times. You know what I mean? Like,
you're like, hey, we went to
we were going to Texas
NASCAR
Roadhouse.
Speed Park.
We went to NASCAR Speed Park, and I rented it for a day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But like with the $1 billion, you know, you're gonna change some people's lives. You just can't change. You can't change everybody's life. You know, and you got to be. There's still some people you're probably gonna have to disappoint, maybe.
If you text me tomorrow and say, hey, I'm taking you out to Duff's, and then we're going to Malibu Jacks to race go-karts. I'm like, he won $1 million. Yeah.
Same. If you say, we're going to a NASCAR race, and we're going to do something really fun, I'm going to assume something happened. You know. And if I don't see Ashley at work, because you already said if you win $1 million, Ashley doesn't have to work.
Yep, Ashley, she just came in from work.
So if I go to Walmart to do milk tomorrow, and they were like, "Did you hear Ashley quit?" I'm gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, Thomas won."
Yeah, you would know already. That's what sucks. Yeah, it's like here I'm trying to say I'm gonna hide all this.
That's what I'm saying.
But the moment Ashley doesn't show up to work, you already know what's going on.
Yeah, because either way, whether it's $1 million or $1 billion, I'm probably going to have a heart attack. So there's probably going to be a medical situation. You're probably going to find out and be like, well, he didn't have a heart attack because he's not healthy. Yeah. Something big happened.
Something shocked him to death. Yeah. Like 1.3. You're going to be like Scrooge McDuck in the money bin, just swimming
in my coin?
Oh, yeah.
I will. I'll buy fake coins that you can swim in. That's kind of a thing. Like, I feel like that's, if we were talking about this like 30 years ago, if we were 2 10-year-olds or whatever, having this conversation, I'd be like, I would have that big thing that Scrooge McDuck has.
No, remember
the big vault.
I would be the kid from Blank Check.
Oh my gosh! Or Richie Rich.
Yeah, like
Blank Check.
Remember all that cool stuff he had whenever he wrote
McDonald's
that check?
In his house. Was that the same movie? Where was the movie where they had the McDonald's in the house?
I think that was Richie Rich.
That was Macaulay Culkin, wasn't it?
But Blank Check is where he had like a go-kart track in his backyard.
Oh, I would have a go-kart track. Yeah. I forgot about that. I'm so glad you said that. I thought I knew something was missing.
It would be made, like my go-kart track would be made like a mini Daytona. Yeah. You know what I mean? It'd be like a tri-oval, just
It would be an exact replica.
Oh, man.
I would pay
banking, everything.
I would pay engineers to come down and be like, make this a smaller scale Daytona. Yeah, I want all this stuff. I want a little mini firework thing so we can have pre-race ceremonies when everybody comes over. Like, I pay like a local singer to come sing the national anthem. Yeah, and we have
what's the Meredith girl? That's Loretta Lynn or whatever.
Yeah,
she comes and sings the national anthem for us, and
we would have the Daytona 250 every year.
Yeah, on the Daytona weekend, y'all come over for the race. And before the race starts, we go out there and race like a 50-lap mini race. Dude, that would be awesome.
I know there's going to be a lot of people that are like, that sounds stupid.
No, it doesn't.
I just want to be a child again, and I feel like this money, you know.
Aiden and
we didn't even get into that. I'm definitely getting platelet-rich knee injections and TRT. I'm going nuts. Hair transplants, probably. What if I show up in a couple months, and we do the next time we do this, and I have hair transplants, I won $1.3 billion. If I just that's another funny flex is when people show up with just all of a sudden they have hair.
Yeah.
And this would enable me to do that, and I would do it.
Think about all the time you have to work out. And like you know what I mean? You have all the gym stuff that you need.
You have a personal trainer and chef?
Oh, man.
Finally getting jacked.
I better be like 185 pounds, just washboard abs.
Just like I want a... you just be able to pick a build. Like,
this is what I want to look like.
Chris Hemsworth looks awesome. I want to look like him.
Yeah.
Done.
I have this video that comes on my thing all the time, and it's like an ad for YouTube, and it's this guy going, if you make over $150,000, I can make you jack just like Chris Hemsworth or Brad Pitt from Fight Club.
Oh,
and
my
I'm
God.
like...
Brad Pitt from Fight Club?
That's the guy.
0% body fat?
Yeah, of all the things. But, so yeah, I'm like, I'd pay that guy to get me into that shape.
Oh my gosh. Ridiculous.
Guys, that's what we would do with $1 million.
That's just the tip of the iceberg.
And $1.3 billion.
That's right.
That's the episode. Y'all have a good one.
Peace. The moral of the story is, I would just go nuts. I would.